Yes, it pays to have good credit.
You would always want to be on the side of having good credit.
Do you think it pays to have good credit? Welcome to the It Pays to Have Good Credit podcast, where we talk about credit scores, business, finances, and take calls to answer all questions related to those topics. To call in, call 225-243-9700 and press option 1 to join in. 95% of our clients enrolled into Sturgis Credit Repair are usually enrolled for the same reason, and that is to buy a home. Okay, 95% of our clients are only trying to fix their credit for one thing, and as I just said, it's to buy a home. You know, everyone's trying to go from a 500 credit score to a 620, or go from a 620 to a 680, depending on which type of loan you're approved for. Okay, and the good thing about that is Sturgis Credit Repair have a guide that has 7 steps to walk you through the home buying process. And you can find this guide on the Sturgis Credit Repair social media platforms. We do have Facebook and Instagram, but Facebook is our main social media platform. So if you guys do have Facebook, go check out the Sturgis Credit Repair Facebook page, and you will find this 7-step home buying process guide on our Facebook page. So let's kind of get straight to the point here. Many people, and I see this weekly or sometimes even daily, I even hear these stories, but I see this happen a lot. People skip checking their credit, skip checking their finances, and just go straight to contacting a real estate agent to show them a home, and it does nothing but waste everyone's time. Okay, you know, guys, you have to do some type of research before you even contact professionals who are in place to help you. Yes, it's their job to explain the process to you and kind of walk you through the steps. But look, at the end of the day, this is just going to cause stress on you and them if you're going to them unprepared and you're nowhere near ready to buy a home. So the reason behind this guide is to kind of walk you step by step, patiently. You're not rushing, you're not causing stress on yourself, because at the end of the day, yeah, professionals may get aggravated if you go to them when you shouldn't be going to them in the first place. But at the end of the day, they go to the next customer who may be prepared to buy and they're happy, and you go home mad and stressed out. Okay, a lot of people wait until their apartment lease or their rental home lease is over in 2 or 3 months, and their credit score is 450, and they're trying to contact a credit repair service at the end of the day, you know, after they found out they're not approved for a home, and call them and like, hey, I need to fix my credit by the end of the month, or I need to fix my credit before next month is over. And guys, listen, this is just going to be a very, very, very frustrating process. Okay, so let's go through these 7 steps here. Number 1, the very first thing you should do when it comes to buying a home, okay, is checking your credit scores. Okay, this is regardless if you have bad credit or good credit. Your credit scores is always the initial yes or no answer. Although there's many other factors to look at besides your credit scores, credit is the first thing that's going to determine if you're going to move forward or get sent home. Okay, so check your credit. Now, not only are you checking your credit scores, you're also checking credit score requirements. Okay, so there's certain loans that you will be approved for. Okay, if you're a first-time home buyer, you may qualify for some type of USDA loan service. Okay, I know many of you guys may not know the difference in the loans, but if you can just go to Google and just search minimum credit score required for such and such loan, this will give you a better idea of what you would be approved for. So if you know you're a first-time home buyer, go to Google and type, minimum credit score for a first-time home buyer. If you already have a loan, you may qualify for FHA, which is probably the most common type of loan these days. Okay, FHA, I think, have a higher credit score requirement. I think you may need to be around 680, maybe less, who knows, but 680 is a good point. Then you have conventional loans. Okay, this is for people that may need to put like 20% down. Maybe it's for investment purposes, who knows. Okay, you definitely need to be 720 or above with those. Okay, so let's get started here. So minimum credit scores, make sure you check that. That's the first answer if you're going to be able to move forward or not. It's a yes or no answer with that. So if you are a first-time home buyer, at least try and get to a 620 or above, because then you can get some type of rural development loan. Maybe you can look into homes in the rural development areas outside of your city, and a realtor and loan officer will be able to work with you in that type of loan criteria there. So 620 or above for first time home buyer. If you already own a home and you're trying to get a second home until your current home sells, or you're trying to rent it out, whatever the case is, FHA will probably be your next loan type. And you may need to put 3.5% down. Your credit scores need to be higher. Your income needs to be better. Guys, in this case, you need to be aiming at 680 or above. Okay, if you have any late payments on your credit, okay, you need to make sure you don't have any late payment history within 24 months. If you do, some questions may pop up, but if you have decent enough credit, it may not be a big issue. So checking your credit is always the first thing, or the first step in this guide that I'm talking about here in this episode. Next, determine your budget. This is so important. When you apply for a mortgage loan, a bank will automatically approve you up to 40% of your gross income. Now, the problem with this is a lot of people getting too much debt. Okay, although you're approved for that much, that doesn't mean you need to go out and max out that full approval. Okay, if you're approved for a $400,000 home because the mortgage would be 40% of your gross income, that doesn't mean you need to go out and purposely look for $400,000 homes. That's because your gross income, 40% of that does not include your car insurance, your groceries, your hobbies, vacations, taking your families on vacations once or twice a year, or however often, the average person travels. You have to get away from work at some point, or get away from, reality. So do not go out and max out your income, because guys, look, after taxes is taken out of your gross income, your bills are taken out of your gross income. So by the time you take 40% of your gross income, in reality, that's probably 60% of your, 60 to 70% of your net income after all of your bills. So at the end of the month, you only have 30% of monthly income to go towards other things. And look, if one bad thing happens in your life, that mortgage at the end of the day is still going to be rolling like a train on a track. That train doesn't stop. Those mortgage payments doesn't stop. So guys, determine your budget. Okay, only not the mortgage company, not the bank, not the realtor. Only your true budget. Okay, you've been making such and such money for the last few months or the last few years. How much extra money you have to just blow on debt or just throw away in a trash can before you have to start worrying about anything financially or worrying about the next dollar. Okay, if you have an extra $2,000 a month left over before money goes into your savings, before extra money goes out into eating out or hobbies or taking a vacation or saving for a vacation, you need that $2,000. So do you want that extra $2,000 a month to go towards a mortgage? No, you can spare a extra, $600, $800 at the most, to where you still have $1,200, $1,500 left over of free money at the end of the month that you don't have to touch after all of your bills. Okay, that's how you determine your budget. Because if you listen to this 40%, you may not have any extra money left over by the time all of your bills come out and your hobbies expenses and vacation expenses and savings, and you may not have much left over. Okay, so that's determining your budget. Okay, step number 3, and this is important: save your money. Wait until you at least have 3 months of expenses, 3 to 6 months of expenses in your savings account before you look into buying a home. Why? That has nothing to do with buying a home. That's just for security on your part. Okay, saving some money, one, you have down payment money ready and you have closing money ready. But also, after all of that, if you were to get the home, if something happens now that you got this new debt under your belt, you have money saved up in case of an emergency. Okay, but most of these things here, you definitely want to have some money saved up, because when that closing date comes, you can't just sit around and say, okay, well, I got to put $10,000 down on this house and I may need an extra $5,000 for savings. Okay, I'll work on that a month before closing. Well, that closing date comes sooner than you think. And as that closing date gets sooner and sooner and sooner, then a lot of you guys stress out and don't have the money for the down payment or don't have the money for closing. Now you can't get this home and you just wasted everyone's time. So guys, listen, before you do anything, check your credit, determine your budget, and have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up. So one, when your closing date comes, you got everything you need, down payment and closing. And secondly, after you buy the home, you have extra money in your savings in case you miscalculate something after this new mortgage hits your credit and you got more bills coming out now that you done bought a home. You don't have any type of emergencies going on with money because you're prepared. Okay, so those are the first 3 steps. The next 3 steps are going to be pretty much the easy steps here. This is going to rely less on your finances and more on the home buying process. So step number 4 is to contact a mortgage company or a mortgage broker. Okay, this is what's going to determine how much you're approved for. So contact anybody that can help you get approved for a loan. You can literally go on Google and search mortgage lenders near me or mortgage broker near me, or if you can just go on Zillow and just search or click the button that says get pre-qualified, it'll locate someone local to you. But this is the 4th step, guys. This usually take 2 to 3 days to find out how much you're approved for. You're pretty much going to fill out a credit application with the mortgage lender, just giving a estimate amount of how much you make, and they're going to pull your credit and they're going to let you know if you're approved or not approved based on your credit, income, and your debt situation. Okay, once you're pre-qualified, step number 5 is to now find a realtor. 9 times out of 10, once you're pre-qualified with the mortgage lender, they may know someone who sell houses. Okay, they may know a local real estate agent that they can partner with or use to work with you in order to find a home within your pre-approval amount. Most real estate agents will not crank up their vehicle to go show you houses if you do not have this pre-approval letter, because they do not want to waste their time, gas, or energy showing someone houses who's not even in the position to buy a house. Okay, so once you get that pre-approval letter, find a realtor, find the home that you want to buy, and then you move to step 6, which is submit any final documents needed by the mortgage lender. Okay, so once you submit an offer on a home or you tell your realtor you want to buy, they're going to submit everything. Your mortgage lender will need everything else as far as what's needed for the application. Your check stubs, your maybe pull your credit again. They may need some other documents or job verification or whatever the case is. These are final documents to submit and finalize everything. Once they get that, step number 7 is to close on your new home. Okay, so those are the 7 steps, step by step, that I will recommend that people follow when it comes to buying a home. Why do I recommend these? Because this is going to be the most stress free process ever when it comes to buying a home. Number one, check your credit. Do your research on the minimum credit score needed depending on the type of loan that you're applying for, okay? Number two, determine your budget, not the 40% of your gross budget that the bank is going to tell you, but just determine what your true budget would be, by your heart. Only you know that, okay? Number three, save your money. Pay off any unnecessary debts that you may have, okay? This also goes into step two, which is budgeting. If you have any unpaid credit cards, look, you don't need any unnecessary debts when it comes to buying a new house. Just pay that off. Or if you know your car note may get in the way, look, maybe hold off on a new home and pay your car off first. Who knows, okay? This is all within step number three here, saving money. So number one, check your credit. Number two, determine your budget. Number three, save money. And then from there, things get easier. It's just a smooth process once you complete steps 1 through 3. And then you can go to number 4, get pre-approved. Number 5, find a realtor and submit an offer. Number 6, submit any final documents needed. And then number 7, you close on your new home. That's all for this episode. If you use credit to improve your lifestyle and would like to share your story on the It Pays to Have Good Credit podcast, feel free to reach out to us at info@sturgiscreditrepair.com. Sturgis is spelled STIRGUS, creditrepair.com.